When I play a Hot Wheels game, I expect a few things. I want awesome tracks full of loops, a variety of cars to collect, stunts and tricks that I can do in the air to rack up points, but what I didn't know I wanted until I played this game is guns. And Hot Wheels with guns is exactly what the geniuses at THQ gave us back in 2002 with Hot Wheels Velocity X. This game was released for the GameCube and PlayStation 2 as well as a Game Boy Advance port, but I'll be using the PlayStation 2 version for this video. And we're going to be 100% completing this game, but we're not stopping there. We're also going to be getting every achievement in the game using Retro Achievements, a platform that adds achievement support to all your favorite classic games. We have 59 achievements in total to collect, many of which we'll just passively earn for 100% completion, but there'll be some additional challenges along the way, including one that was extremely difficult, but we'll save that one for last. If you're new to the channel, my name's Nostalgic Juice. I'm on a journey to replay all my childhood nostalgic games and get their retro achievements. I upload a video every week, so if you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss them. With that said, let's start our engines and play some Hot Wheels Velocity X. The game starts and we see our hotshot racing prodigy Max Justice doing what he does best and racing through the city streets. But our race is cut short by an alert that we have an intruder back at home. When we get there to investigate, we find our home completely ransacked. Our robot friend Gearhead has been trapped as well, so we free him and he explains that the thieves are headed towards our dad's engineering plant next, so we load up to go after them. Like every other Hot Wheels game, we have a variety of cars to choose from, most of which are unlocked as we play the game. I decided to go with the Twin Mill for our first mission, a nice little throwback to Hot Wheels Turbo Racing, which was the last Hot Wheels game that I played. The game's story has 13 missions and we get all of our objectives at the start. For the first one, we need to make it to the tire factory, disable 2 enemy vehicles, and then get to the engineering plant. Our drive to the tire factory is a good chance to get a feel for the handling of the cars. We have a time limit for each mission, and time can be extended by collecting power-ups, and we'll lose time for hitting obstacles like barrels or traffic cones. Destroying cars and windows is fine though for some reason. I guess traffic cones are just sacred in this world. We can earn points by grabbing more power-ups or by doing tricks off ramps, and the points help us refill our boost meter as well as replenish ammo for our weapons. Before the mission even starts, we get to pick a weapon to start out with, but we can also pick up weapons during the game as well. The weapon I chose was the Ripper Wheels, which puts spikes on our tires and then we can damage other cars by ramming into them. There's also ranged weapons like this electric zapper, and we'll unlock and discover plenty of more weapons as we progress through the game. For now, we'll take out some bad guys with these starter weapons and complete the mission, getting us our first achievement, and we'll get at least one achievement for every mission we complete. For mission 2, we have to grab a bomb that was left at the tire factory and deliver it to an abandoned building where it can be detonated safely. And while we're hauling cargo, we can't use our weapons, so now we're just dodging and weaving as we try to avoid the other cars trying to blow us up. Since we're still in the early game though, these guys don't put up much of a fight and we drop off the bomb to clear the mission. During our next briefing, we learned that the thieves were after some computer disks containing files about a Velocity X project, and a new prototype car that our genius engineer father, Dr. Peter Justice, was working on. But before we can speculate, we're contacted by our first boss, Nitro, who tells us if we bring him some money to wager, he'll race us for the Velocity X disc. Normally, I wouldn't negotiate with the bad guys, but then we get another transmission from the doctor himself, and he practically begs us to do whatever it takes to get the discs back. So now our mission is to get to the bank and collect the money we'll be wagering, but this bank has the worst customer service and just left our suitcase full of cash outside like it's a DoorDash order. And it of course gets stolen, so we gotta chase down the thief and get it back. The only problem is, I was experimenting with the different loadouts and I used the repair kit this time instead of a weapon, so I have no way of actually destroying him. So yeah, our first loss of the run because of that, but I came back with an actual weapon this time and launched some barrels at him like Donkey Kong. Once I took him out, I grabbed the money and I think at least half of it probably stayed inside the suitcase as I drove off to face against Nitro for our first boss battle. Or I guess boss race? For a minute I forgot this is supposed to be a racing game after all. Races in this game aren't multiple laps around a course like you would expect, but instead we race through the city and the track is split into 3 segments, and it's best 2 of 3. We of course win 2-0 against Nitro because I am not losing a race to a guy who sounds like a cartoon henchman.
Look, here's the cash in the car, but I don't have the discs, like on me.
Speaking of voice acting, our protagonist is voiced by David Kaufman, who also voiced Danny Phantom. Man, I used to love that show.
I'm going to Turbine Sands to find out who's behind this.
Our next mission takes place in a new area, and our first order of business is to take out 3 vehicles in the Turbine Stadium. And now the enemies are starting to heat things up. I actually had a hard time getting them in front of me to land shots. But I did get to play with a new laser cannon weapon. The arena was pretty cool too, with these big half pipes to ride. Eventually I was able to blast everybody away, and after the last one was dealt with, we cleared the mission. Dr. Justice explains that Velocity X is a prototype for a super racing fuel that lets cars travel at twice their normal speed, which sounds pretty underwhelming compared to the prototype uranium-powered car that can turn invisible that the thieves also are after. We then get a tip that there's a uranium delivery scheduled across town and that the thieves plan to use a stolen train to haul off some more stolen cars. So we of course need to put a stop to them, but before we do, I noticed several of the weapons are unlocked in the challenge mode. Normally in games like this, I like to beat the story mode first, then go to challenge mode, but I really want to try the Atom Blaster, so I decided to take a short break and check out challenge mode. And the first few challenges were pretty easy, just basically drive from point A to point B in a time limit or collecting some gears along a path. Nothing too crazy to start with, however some challenges also have secrets to discover. Like in Challenge 4 for example, if we ignore the objective and instead collect all the power-ups, we unlock the Infinite Turbo Boost cheat. Not that I plan to use cheats for this playthrough, in fact using cheats actually disables the retro achievements, but we do get an achievement just for unlocking it. Then I went back to destroy all the boxes like we were supposed to do, and that clears Challenge 4 and unlocks the Atom Blaster. While I was taking a break from the story though, I also decided to check out the Joyride mode. This is basically a free roam and we can choose any of the different cities that we already played in story mode. But this time there's collectibles which unlock new cars. Each map has a key and 10 gears, and these things are hidden very well. I explored every nook and cranny I can find. I checked inside boxes and destroyed vehicles, and it wasn't until like 20 minutes of aimless wandering that I finally spotted the key. And to get to it, we need to take this half pipe, land on top of the building, and then jump a series of ramps to reach it. The gears would prove to be just as difficult to find, and even after you spot one, you'll have to figure out how to actually get it, which sometimes involves going to a completely different area to find the path that leads to them. And that's just for the ones that we can even spot. This one requires us to launch up to the roof to get it. So you really have to explore to find all these, which I guess makes this not only a racing / vehicular combat type game, but also a collectathon as well. The gears that aren't in some hidey hole also require some skillful driving in order to access, but in the end it was worth it as our prize for finding them all is not only an achievement, but we also get the Flashfire, which is the coolest car that we've gotten so far. And now that we have all that, I think it's time to head back to the story mode and give that Atom Blaster a try. And oh god, I hope there weren't people on that train. Also, gunning down a car with a crate of uranium on top of it doesn't seem like the smartest thing, but I'm having a lot of fun with this new weapon. We take out the car hauling the goods and head back home to finish the mission. Next we get a call from Backroads Belcher, another bad guy who we stole their uranium from. And he challenges us to a race and the winner gets to keep it. And as I was picking a car for this mission, I noticed this stupid thing that we unlocked. This thing looks like a lawnmower and just look at it, it handles like a dream. I mean, it does turn pretty sharp, but maybe a little too sharp. And it's definitely not fit for combat, so this boss fight probably wasn't the best choice to try it out. But once I got Belcher in front of me, I sprayed him down with the Atom Blaster and destroyed him. After defeating him, he reveals that our girlfriend Sparky is in trouble. And yes, that is her real name, it is a Hot Wheels game, so of course everything has to be car puns. She's been poking around in all this mess as well, and she's being targeted next. Before we can save her though, she tells us she found some papers that looks like part of a map with Dr. Justice's name, as well as Otto Von Diesel, who's the big bad of the game. So our first step of this mission is to go to the roller coaster by the bay to retrieve the map. On our way there, we see a bunch of enemies, but we have to resist the urge to blast them as this track is covered in barrels and every stray shot that hits one costs us 5 seconds. I tried to just race ahead of them, but then immediately got destroyed, so maybe I'll stick with defensive items for this one. We make it to the roller coaster where we have to collect the map fragments, and why are there barrels on the roller coaster track? After collecting all the maps, we head to meet up with Sparky, who's under attack, so we'll have to take out some more bad guys. And I think we just discovered the best weapon in the game, the magnet mine. It's really good, and we don't even have to aim accurately, just shoot in their general direction and they'll automatically target them and blow them up. After rescuing Sparky, the doctor tells us he has a data disk on him that he doesn't feel is safe to be carrying around and asks us to come collect it. But as he transmits the coordinates, it's intercepted by another bad guy who at least has the courtesy to tell us that he's intercepted our transmission and warns us. That means our next mission is a fight for the data disk, so we blast our way through some enemies and even hit one with a good old-fashioned headbutt. We find the hidden car that contains the disc, and after blasting our way through another wave of enemies, we finish the mission to secure the car. It's about time that we got challenged by another one of Otto's goons. This time we're up against Fastlane, and Sparky is not happy about it.
What do you want? Is leather still in these days?
You probably know the drill by now. She challenges us to a race and promises us some information if we win. So we head out for the next mission, and wow, I do not remember unlocking this car, but it's pretty sick. It drives pretty good too. This might be my new favorite car in the game. After taking out some more enemies, we work our way up to challenge Fastlane. And she tried hitting us with this like side thrust move, and I thought that move was for dodging barrels. I didn't know it can be used as an attack. I hit Fastlane so hard, I caused her to spin out, and we got a huge lead that she could not even come close from coming back from. I think I might have gotten a little carried away with our new move that I just learned though, and ended up screwing myself out of the second race. But I was able to salvage the mission by winning race 3. This achievement set for retro achievements is pretty chill too. There's no crazy speedrun challenges or finish the mission without taking damage or losing a race type things. So it's nice that we don't have to worry about playing perfectly to get these achievements. That's not to say there aren't some challenges to be had here. Some of the missions have additional challenges as you'll soon see, but first we get a bit of a lore dump behind the big bad, Otto von Diesel. Turns out he used to work with Dr. Justice in the Hot Wheels engineering team, and Otto got fired for dismissing safety features. That's it. That's his villain origin story. He got fired from work. After deciphering the map that Sparky found, we learned that he now apparently plans to launch a rocket into a dormant volcano on Burnout Glacier. Like bro, just get a different job. Find yourself a company that doesn't care about safety regulations or something. Our next mission is to follow Otto to the rocket and destroy it, but we have an additional objective thanks to retro achievements. We need to beat this mission without destroying any of the enemies. So we need to dodge the mines they drop the entire time rather than take them out like we normally would. And when we get to the end, that would be a little more difficult as now we have to attack the rocket, but make sure we don't accidentally destroy anybody else in the process. But I managed to get a clean shot right at the start with this new Freon bomb weapon I picked up, taking the rocket down to almost no health in a single shot. Then I just had to dodge a few more enemies to deliver the final blow and cleared the mission with no casualties. Our next mission briefing reveals that the reason Otto was trying to blow up the volcano was because the Velocity X fuel requires volcanic gases. Since we stopped the rocket, their next target will be the doctor's own collection canister, so he asked us to go retrieve it. And this time, the bad guy doesn't even have the courtesy to wait for us to actually get it before challenging us to a race for it. So our next mission is going to be a boss battle against this store brand Bane over here. And this is the hardest mission in the entire run, and it's all thanks to retro achievements once again. This time we have to beat this mission without hitting any barrels or traffic cones, and there are a lot of barrels on the road leading to our fight against Slick. We can go slow and take our time, but remember, missions are on a time limit, so we can't go too slow. I was doing pretty good on my first attempt, but I ran into a barrel that I couldn't see until it was too late. And you know, now that I think about it, this might be the one time this stupid little car can actually be an advantage. It's small enough that we can squeeze between barrels if we're careful, which really comes in handy at the end because why are there so many barrels? We eventually squeeze our way through and grab the canister, but now we have to make it to the boss. And like I said before, this car is not optimal for battle. It's so lightweight and gets tossed around very easily. So I got pretty overwhelmed and ended up getting destroyed and had to start the mission over again. On the way back to this part, I discovered a shortcut in the first part of the mission. The benefit here is that there's no barrels on this shortcut, so we can get through a nice chunk of the level without risk. But there's also no time power-ups on this path either, so we'll have to move faster once we're back on the main path. I think this path is best if you don't plan to use the Hyper Mite car like I am. Despite all that though, I made it back to the next part of the mission, and this time I was rocking a repair kit to try to play more defensively. But it was still rough. I was again getting tossed around, but I managed to keep myself alive thanks to the repair kit. But one of the enemies managed to take the canister away from me, and because I chose the repair kit, I don't have a weapon to deal with them. I was pretty low on health too, and I decided to backtrack to the previous room so I can get more power-ups to refill my ammo. Thankfully the enemies follow you, so the one that has my canister came with me, but there's still the matter of actually destroying them. So I had no choice but to simply try to ram them to death in this tiny little clown car. It took some time to do this, but thankfully this mission was generous with the time during this section, so I was able to take my time chipping away his health until eventually I destroyed him and reclaimed the canister. I managed to dodge the rest of the enemies and made it to the battle against Slick. And again, I was getting absolutely manhandled, or car handled I guess. My only relief was that there are no barrels in this battle arena, so all I have to do is win this fight and we'll complete the mission and get our achievement. But it was no easy feat to do so. On the plus side though, this arena is full of weapons, including my favorite atom blaster, which I used to take out one of the enemies, and then we discovered a new weapon, which is this big sonic boom that damages all cars in a close proximity. Another weapon that doesn't require aiming, so I spammed the crap out of it when I was down to 28 health and managed to defeat Slick and get the achievements. This was the hardest mission in the entire run so far, so I was very glad to have cleared this hurdle. And now we finally learn the real motives Otto has during our next mission briefing. It turns out the Velocity X fuel, when combined with the prototype car, has the power to travel through time, which sounds like a much better motivation than simply being able to drive faster. But it won't work without this temporal transmission, which is our next objective. And of course, no mission is complete without another bad guy challenging us to a race. So now we're off to the next mission to recover the temporal transmission and to race against Rupert Jacoby. Along the way, we get trapped by a couple more enemies and have to destroy these power boxes to unlock the door. We can't attack while carrying the transmission, so I got banged up a bit, but I managed to dodge them and take out all the power boxes to carry on with the mission. And after yet another narrow row of barrels, we face off in our race against Rupert. I won the first race, but completely choked a jump and ran face first into a wall, costing me the second race. So it all came down to race number 3, and after discovering a nice shortcut jumping over a good chunk of the track, I was able to take him down. And this time we get an additional achievement since we've now unlocked all the maps in the game. And who would have guessed the bad guys aren't gonna play fair, and despite me beating him, they still took off with a temporal transmission. This whole game, I was under the impression that the racing wagers were some kind of legally binding contract. But it turns out lying was an option this whole time. So now that the rules of society are out the window, our next mission is to simply infiltrate Otto's base and destroy everybody in our path in a boss rush where we have to fight a rematch against 4 previous bosses. Only now we're fighting 2 at a time. I definitely had the most fun in this mission. The vehicle combat is so much fun, but the regular enemies don't really put up much of a fight, but the bosses are a little bit tougher. After taking out Belcher and Nitro, now we have to make our way up to the next fight, driving through these landmines to try to make it there in one piece. And thankfully I discovered a new shield power up because these guys were super aggressive. And I was struggling to get my health back up because you have to cycle through every weapon one at a time to get to the repair kit, but trying to keep track of that while driving and evading enemy fire was really hard. With 2 bosses, it's really easy to get overwhelmed, but once I finally managed to get one of them, I was able to corner Fastlane, and after destroying her, we cleared the mission. Otto finally reveals that his true ultimate plan is to go back in time and erase our entire family from existing, as well as all the Hot Wheels cars. All of this as a reminder because he got fired for OSHA violations. Well, we can't let him get away with it, so we'll head to the final mission to face Otto in the final battle. And just the drive to get to him was pretty tough. I actually died on my first attempt. And we do have 2 battles ahead of us, so we really have to minimize how much damage we take. Once we make it through the minefield, we have to face off against Rupert, and hey look, we're using the same car. Of course, it's not a fair fight, and he brought some backup, so again, I was getting overwhelmed. But after getting a nice double kill on his backup, I was able to focus in and hit Rupert with every weapon available to me until we finally took him out for good. Before facing off against Otto, we have to find the special weapon which we find inside these boxes. We'll use this quantum annihilator to destroy the central computer in Otto's base to destroy all the data he's collected. And once that's done, it's time to chase him down as he tries to make a getaway. We have to navigate through another minefield, and I almost got taken out but managed to somehow make it through with literally 0 health left. I don't even know how I survived that last hit, but I made it to the battle against Otto, and my first order of business was to get fixed up as soon as possible. And I think the only reason I managed to pull this off is because this is a fair 1v1 fight. If he came at me with 3 cars like the last guy, I'd be toast. Not that he really needs the backup though. Otto has a crazy amount of durability. I circled the whole arena, fully stocking up on weapons, and hit him with everything I had, and it hardly made a dent. And he uses some kind of homing weapon that we don't even have access to yet. Honestly though, I was really enjoying this fight. The combat is so fun, and again, most battles are over quick, so it was nice to have one that went on for a few minutes. The only thing that would have made it better is if that special weapon that we picked up came into play more. I tried using it, but I felt like I was just doing better with the other ones. And eventually, after exchanging fire for a good couple of minutes, we take down Otto and complete the final mission of the game. We successfully stopped him from doing any time travel shenanigans, recovered the prototype car, and now we can live out the rest of our days racing in the streets of Monument City. And with the story completed, we are now at 19 out of 59 achievements. Our next few achievements we'll be getting from the challenge mode, and the rest of the challenges are about as easy as the first few that we already did. It's usually either racing to a checkpoint or collecting all the gears within a time limit or without hitting any barrels, or sometimes both. There's also score challenges that require us to perform tricks off the ramps and try to earn enough points in a time limit. And then there's the occasional crate smashing challenge that requires us to destroy a certain number of wooden crates. And that's pretty much it for the challenges as far as a normal playthrough goes, but thanks to retro achievements, we have additional objectives, which are also how you unlock the cheat codes in this game. In Mission 7, our goal is to get to the finish line while avoiding the orange barrels, but to get the achievement, we have to do the opposite of that and knock down 30 barrels. Finally, we get a revenge against the barrels who tormented us earlier. In Mission 8, we have to collect all the score power-ups, and that's actually more difficult than it looks. There's not a lot of time in this mission since you don't need a lot of time to get the points required to beat it normally. So getting all the power-ups requires us to make perfect jumps almost every time. You can afford 1 or 2 mistakes, but any more than that and you'll have to start over. It took some trial and error to figure out just the right speed to take a jump to get all the power-ups. Go too fast and you'll go over the power-ups, go too slow and you won't get high enough. But after getting a feel for it, I managed to get the run and grabbed another achievement. Challenge 15 requires us to smash all these road closed signs, and there's plenty of time to do that, so this one wasn't a challenge at all, just another easy achievement to add to the pile. In Challenge 17, we have to destroy a whopping 180 barrels, and I spent, I kid you not, 30 minutes attempting this one achievement and failing each time. Then I looked up a video guide to see what I was doing wrong, and I kept seeing them on a different map than the one I'm playing on, and for some reason my first thought was, oh, this version of the game must be different. So then I proceeded to spend another 20 minutes looking for a guide for the right version of the game, only to then realize I was attempting this on the wrong level. This is Mission 17, which is the one that I saw in all those guide videos. This was the first barrel one that gave me some trouble because 180 barrels is a lot, but what I soon realized is that there's way more than that many barrels to choose from. At first, I was backtracking to try to get as many of them as I could, but it's actually better to just keep going forward. A small detour here and there for a nice group of barrels is fine, but don't start going backwards trying to get them all. Once I realized that, I was able to get the achievement on my next attempt. And finally, Challenge 18 has 2 cheat codes to unlock. The first being yet another barrel smashing spree. This time we only need 50 of them, and we got a bunch of atom blasters in this one, so it was fun mowing them all down. The second one requires us to find a hidden key, which is located in the mine shafts. Take a right at the fork and drive across the bridge, making sure to blast away any obstacles, and we find the key just outside off the ramp. After clearing challenge mode, we got 10 more achievements in total. 3 of them are for unlocking all the weapons, drag races, and battle maps, which we got as we completed all the challenges. And we'll need to play all these modes for achievements, but they do require us to use specific cars, so we'll have to unlock them all. We unlocked a bunch of them already just by playing the game up until this point, and the rest of them we'll get in free roam where we have to collect the 10 gears and a key from each of the different maps. Unlike the first time that we did this, however, we actually managed to find the gears and keys a lot easier. Maybe I was just starting to understand the game better by this point, or maybe they just decided to take it easy for the next few maps, but we managed to find almost all the collectibles without even having to pull up a guide. That said, there were a few tricky gears that required some precise jumps though. I spent forever trying to get this one on Glacier Burnout, only to realize it's a lot easier to go from a different angle. I also struggled a lot on this series of jumps on Crankshaft Bay, but I knew a series of jumps this difficult had to lead to something, and after I practiced it a bit, I managed to make it through and find the key on the other side. After collecting all the things, that gets us 4 more achievements, plus another one for unlocking all the cars. And while we're here in free roam, we might as well pick up the 5 score attack achievements as well. There's no official score attack mode in this game outside a few challenges, but retro achievements basically adds one to each map as we have to earn 10,000 points in the first 3 minutes on each of them. And these achievements are just basically freebies. 10,000 points isn't really a lot once you learn the best trick is to do these diagonal flips by holding down the bumper and inputting any direction. As long as you land on your wheels, you'll get between 500 and 1,000 points depending on how long the jump was. So the goal for each map is to simply find a ramp and just farm points. It's kind of a shame because there are some other cool tricks you can do, like if you land on the wall or a ceiling you get a score multiplier, but you never really have to do that in order to get these achievements. I do appreciate the simplicity. Having to do the same 10,000 points in 3 minutes across all maps keeps things nice and uniform, but I think these achievements could have benefited if the time and scores were better tailored to each of the maps. But as they are now, they're just some free achievements, so that's 5 more to the total. And now that we're done with the free roam, we can take on the drag races. This is the mode when Hot Wheels Velocity X remembers it's supposed to be a racing game. The races work just like the boss races in story mode, except for retro achievements, we have to set the races to 1 round, so instead of best 2 of 3, we only get 1 chance to win. And we have to set the computers to very hard difficulty, as well as use specific cars for each of these achievements. I do like that the achievement gives you a choice of 2 cars for each achievement, so if you really hate a specific car, you don't have to use it. Though to be honest, these races were very easy. Even against the very difficult computers, we won on the first try on every race pretty much. In fact, one of the achievements requires us to win a race without using any boosts, and even that was a walk in the park. You can still attack cars in this mode, and we actually have an achievement for destroying one, so we got that on Bay Street Race since we get an atom blaster right at the start. Even stopping to destroy this guy for the achievement though, we still managed to win the race because the computers, I guess, were also going for this achievement or something, so we're able to blow right past them. The only thing that maybe would make this difficult is the fact that retro achievements makes us use one of 2 specific cars, and the cars do all have different stats and they handle differently, but it's not so significant that it's gonna make or break anything. And like I said, you can choose from 2 cars for these achievements, so if you really are struggling with one, you can just use the other. Aside from that, these are just pretty easy, even on the harder difficulty. So after winning all the drag races, we get 8 more achievements in total, and our next achievements will come from the battle mode, which to be honest is way more fun than the races, and the settings we have to use for retro achievements make these battles last way longer than the story mode ones. So this was the highlight of the run for me. We're still using very hard difficulty computers, but we're also going to set the score to 20 and the time limit to 10 minutes. We don't actually have to make it to 20 kills, we just have to have the most kills by the end of the match. And this time the hard computers actually do make a difference, as these guys are landing their shots almost every time, so in a head-to-head battle, you're gonna have a hard time winning those fights. And unlike the story mode where all the enemies are targeting you, this is a free-for-all, so oftentimes you'll get somebody to low health only for another computer to swoop in and finish them off, robbing you of the points. A lot of the failed battles were a result of simply running out of ammo. In the story mode, if I had no weapons, I can get away with ramming into people in a pinch, but that just doesn't work very well in this mode. Ramming does so little damage, you'll likely get destroyed first before getting any kills this way. The best thing to do is to spend most of our time gathering resources. There's a variety of weapons scattered in each arena, as well as the point power-ups which refill ammo. Then once we're loaded up, try to find some other battles going on and try to jump in and take them out once they're already weakened, because kill stealing is fun when you're the one doing it. The one thing you don't want to do is mess with the school bus. Honestly, if you see the bus in your lobby, just reset and try again, because this thing does not die. It is an absolute tank. I was throwing everything I had at this thing and it barely makes a dent. I even ended up losing to the bus on the first try and had to replay this one to get the win. And at first maybe I thought I was overreacting, but then one of the battle mode achievements requires us to use the bus, and I got to experience firsthand just how crazy strong this thing is. The downside, of course, is it's a literal bus, so you're not going to be jumping up ramps or doing any crazy maneuvers, but as long as you have access to a weapon, you can hold down the fort and rack up some serious points. And remember when I said that ramming isn't very effective? That does not apply to the bus. You can do some good damage just by smashing into enemies, which comes in handy as one of our achievements requires us to win a 1st to 5 battle without picking up a single item, and with the bus that was no problem at all. Overall, the battle achievements were simple but incredibly fun, and we got a chance to really use the different weapons. The best one I think is the magnet mines. They do a great job stun locking enemies and deal some good damage, and the fact that you don't have to aim them precisely makes them a very consistent way to take out enemies. Of course, the Atom Blaster is still one of my favorites to use personally, and it does dish out damage very quickly provided you can connect all your shots. Which is pretty difficult in this game. There doesn't seem to be any kind of aim assist like you'd find in shooters nowadays, so hitting targets is difficult, especially from a distance. If you're a bit of a sharpshooter, the laser cannon does a lot of damage and has a very long range, basically the equivalent of a sniper rifle. Its downside is its low rate of fire, so if you miss, it'll leave you vulnerable for a few seconds. If you can't hit your shots, the sonic boom does damage to any car in close proximity, though I'll be honest, now that I've used it, this one kinda sucks. It just doesn't do a lot of damage, so it's not great in a 1v1 situation, and if you're in the middle of a crowd, you're probably going to get destroyed before you manage to kill anybody with it. It's really better off as more of a last resort type weapon, or when you just need a little more damage to finish somebody off. Once we got the hang of things, we fought our way through each map and got all 8 achievements, plus the no item one, which makes a total of 9. And now we have only 3 achievements left to go. Our first one is for defeating a boss back in story mode on very hard difficulty using the Hyper Mite, so for one last time, we gotta bust out this stupid thing. I tried to do it against Belger, but this thing is just so bad at battles and we got absolutely destroyed, so instead I decided to race against Nitro. And aside from getting tossed around at every opportunity, we were able to win the race without much issue. And now we never have to use this stupid lawnmower ever again. Next we head back to challenge mode to beat the final challenge on very hard mode, which isn't really all that different. Very hard just has 5 seconds less on the clock. Aside from that, it's basically the same challenge. Destroy the crates, avoid the barrels, and get to the end in time, and that's basically another free achievement. But oh boy, was our final achievement the complete opposite of a free achievement. This was brutal. Up until now, these achievements have been pretty easy, a few challenges here and there, but nothing ridiculously hard. But for this one, we have to beat the final boss on the hardest difficulty using the default car. And the difficulty doesn't just affect the boss, we also have less time as well. So just getting to Otto was pretty difficult. I had to perfect the route leading up to the first fight, making sure to grab all the time extensions I can along the way. And before Otto, we have to fight Rupert in a 3v1 battle, and this was incredibly difficult. It was already tough before on the normal difficulty, but this was just insane. If I wasn't getting obliterated, I was running out of time, so I had to really strategize here to come up with a solution. For starters, I decided to start the mission with a shield as my equipment instead of any weapons. The shield works against the mines on the drive up here, which is important because we want to go into this fight with full health. Once I get to the fight, I gotta throw up a shield to protect myself against the first barrage, and then immediately make my way to the upper area of the arena. In most cases, we're safe up here from attacks, and the computers can't figure out how to get up here most of the time, so we're free to grab the weapons and ammo. And thankfully there's a repair kit up here too, so we can get back to full health if we took damage. After loading up, we throw up another shield before heading back into the fray and trying to win the fight. We pretty much always want to be shielded, especially when all 3 cars are still alive. We do only have to destroy Rupert, the other 2 cars will disappear once he's done, but ignoring them just makes things harder, so I was shooting anything that moves. The most important thing was keeping an eye on my health and keeping track of how many button presses it takes to get back to the repair kit and shield so that I wasn't wasting precious time fumbling with my weapons. We failed so many times here, and each time that we did, we have to replay the entire mission from the start. I was honestly getting ready to give up for the day to do this on another session, but I was streaming this and I really wanted to get this mastery live, so I logged in and eventually managed to take out Rupert. After that fight, we do get a small break where we have to grab the special weapon and destroy the computer. It doesn't take too long to do that, so we can use the excess time to refill our health and ammo so we can be fully prepared for the fight against Otto. And then after destroying the computer, we have another drive through a minefield to get to him, though this one is easier than the first one. But the fight against Otto is so much harder this time because we only get 4 minutes. And just like the first time that we fought him, he has so much health. He can take tons of damage, even when we manage to pin him down. That special weapon that we used against the computer does a nice amount of damage, but we only get like 1 or 2 shots with it. And it's got a bit of a charge up animation, so it's hard to actually land that shot. This fight was just so difficult, and losing means we have to replay the entire mission, including the previous fight. This one achievement takes this set from a nice casual mastery to something way more difficult. I don't even know how long we spent trying to get this one achievement, and the fact that each failure sends you back to the start made this an incredible test of patience as well. You guys know how it goes. You start playing sloppy once you've done the same part 100 times, and then you start dying to stupid mistakes. I gotta start doing PlayStation trophies or Xbox achievement videos. Retro achievements are so much harder, but I'm also stubborn and hate losing, so I had no choice but to lock in and try again and again. I was pulling out all the big guns, the Mountain Dew, the Doritos, the gamer chair. I got the fruit by the foot with the game tips, everything to have the skills necessary to pull this off. And after trying this countless times, I eventually got the run and managed to defeat Otto with just under 20 seconds left on the clock, thanks to a very well placed shot from the Quantum Annihilator. Yes! Oh my god! Woo, baby! And with that, we have officially mastered Hot Wheels Velocity X, making this my 12th mastery on retro achievements. This game was a ton of fun. It was a blast playing another Hot Wheels game. The second video I ever made on this channel was Hot Wheels Turbo Racing, which was my first video game I ever played. And when I uploaded that video, I had like 20 subscribers, and now, just a few months later, we're on our way to 10,000 subscribers, so I owe you guys a huge thank you for supporting the channel. And I'm so excited to make even more videos just like this covering all sorts of classic games. I also stream over on Twitch, so if you guys want to hang out and watch these achievement hunting sessions live, feel free to follow me over on Twitch TV/NostalgicJuice. And for my fellow retro achievement hunters, feel free to follow me over on there as well if you want a sneak peek at what I'm currently working on for the next video. And that brings us to the end of the video, gamers. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I would really appreciate a like and comment. Those engagements really do help out the channel, and it's the reason why we've grown so rapidly. If you don't know what to comment, tell me your favorite Hot Wheels car or what your favorite Hot Wheels game is. I really like the Vulture. I used to hold it by the back wheels between my index fingers and spin it around like an early 2000s fidget spinner. If you're new to the channel, I'm uploading a video just like this every single week, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss them. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Whoa! Whoa! I'm in the wall! He pushed me in the wall! What? You cheating computer scum!